of Minnesota.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for scattered rain showers throughout today with a high near 52. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 40, and Saturday, partly sunny with a high near 51. Get a taste of authentic Szechuan and Mandarin cuisine at the Great Wall Restaurant. From hot and sour soup to Peking duck, they've got all of your favorites covered. Conveniently located just south of 50th and France and Edina, order for takeout or view the full menu at GreatWallEdina.com. That's GreatWallEdina.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, the Matt McNeil Show. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. Matt, Brett here today. How are you today, my friend?
I'm all right. How about you?
Doing well. I got a funny one to start us off with here, but I'll get to that in a second. Coming up here a little bit later on, we are going to be chatting with Derek. He is going to be joining us. They've got this big event coming over here for Indigenous People Day. That there's going to be a big voting registration that's going to be coming on up here. It's with the Native American Community Development Institute. And Derek's going to join us on the 9th, which is Monday. They're going to have a Indigenous Voter Registration Celebration Day. And so in the 4 o'clock hour, we're going to chat with Derek about that and how you can participate in that. It's going to be going from noon until 3. So look forward to that. We need to understand something about the modern Republican. All right. They don't care about the truth. They just do not care about the truth. All they want to do is make sure they feed a narrative the people who are their most loyal fan base. And this is actually part of the problem. The reason why there's absolute chaos right now in the U.S. Capitol with the U.S. House and the Republicans over there is because there are too many of these Republicans in incredibly safe districts, which have levitated towards the extreme far right, where basically the representatives who represent those districts do not care at all about making America better. They basically just, do narrative validation and hear the accolades from the extreme far right trolls. And I say this because this permeates into Minnesota, even though our trolls are stupid idiots. I mean, really, the Republican trolls in this state are dumb as bricks. But it doesn't, I want to make sure you understand one thing about this. As I go through this, there's no clarifying this. There's not going to be any fixing this. The only way you could do that is to get them on a court under oath, and then they'd, I'm really the victim here. That's what they would do. But let's head on down to, this was in Iowa, wasn't it? Grinnell, Iowa. There has been 2 narratives, Brett, that have emerged surround a car that got damaged in a parking lot in Iowa, in Grinnell, Iowa, the rear vehicle used by campaign of Vivek Ramaswamy. The campaign blames protester who objected to Ramaswamy's stance on abandoning Ukraine. Well, the updated news reports and one from the Grinnell College newspaper staffer say the episode was just an accident in a parking lot. Yet, even though they didn't have any evidence this had to do with a protester, the Republicans have run with it. And the Grinnell police responded to it as well as just a, fender bender. Posting online, idiot troll Minnesota Republican State Representative Mary Franson shared a third version of the incident. It was Minnesota Democrats. Dun, dun, dun. Did you know that we apparently are doing incursions into Iowa right now?
Was it you or me that did
I
this?
don't know. Where is Patrick been? I mean, let's
maybe
it was him. We figured it out. It was his job to basically go down to Grinnell, Iowa, and while Vivek Ramaswamy was in and doing a speaking event, to do some mild damage to the back bumper of a car. Got him! Zinger! If you actually think through what their allegations are against us, you realize how stupid they are. But the point of this is not truth. Mary Franson's not about the truth. She's about basically giving the trolls that basically say, Mary, you're so pretty, the validation that they, just throwing red meat to the trolls. That's what she does. Basically the screenshot here she put out there, Vivek Ramaswamy, an attack on democracy by Minnesota Democrats. This is Mary saying this. The latest gaffe may claim a place among France's most eloquent moments, including the time she was heartless in Heartland, Representative Mary Franson comparing feeding food stamp recipients to feeding wild animals. Christian. So Christian. Because that was, the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus's direct teachings was, don't feed those people. Actually, no, it was the complete opposite, wasn't it? Yeah, just feed the hungry. That's what it is. So if you don't want to do that, you're really kind of a bad Christian. You just are. And that's not me saying it. It's Jesus. Anywho, the Des Moines Register AP reports that Ramaswamy's campaign blamed protesters for ramming its car in Iowa. The police basically said this is not true. Presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy's campaign vehicle was hit Thursday afternoon, and what the campaign said was an intentional act by protesters, but police say it was nothing more than an accident involving a driver unconnected to the protest. No one was hurt in the incident, which was an unoccupied black Ford Expedition being used by the Ramaswamy campaign, was struck by a Grinnell woman's Honda Civic outside of a coffee house in town. The Ramaswamy campaign blamed the collision on protesters who they said were angry about Ramaswamy's remarks on aid for Ukraine, saying they yelled and swore at the protesting presidential candidate before jumping into a vehicle, ramming the campaign car and speeding off. Ramming meaning minor damage to the bumper. I can say this authoritatively. I had a drunk driver slam into my car. That was ramming speed, okay? This is a minor dent to a bumper. The things clearly escalated, Ramaswamy spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin said. Ramaswamy is used to dealing with protesters and handle it with very calmly, so he was maybe a little more calm about it than the rest of us. Now, once again, this is the Ramaswamy campaign making the first lie. Mary is out there saying it's Minnesota Democrats' second lie. But once again, the only way these people are going to correct themselves is if someone dragged them into a court of law, put them under oath, and they could not get out of it. And all of a sudden they would say, I'm sorry because I'm really the victim. So it's not about the truth. These people lie constantly. How many of them have taken credit for bills they openly voted against? Ta-da! Yes, they constantly lie about stuff. So this is they're not about the truth. And they're not going to apologize. They're not going to admit they're wrong. They're just basically going to sit there because all they're doing is feeding the trolls. That's all they're doing. You're so pretty, Mary. That's not what happened, apparently, calling the Grinnell Police Department's investigations. Instead, the investigation showed that a patron had eaten lunch at Jay's Deli and then backed out of the parking lot into the campaign rental vehicle. A report was taken. The driver was released with a summons for unsafe backing. The release said the driver stated she was not in the area to protest. She did not know who the vehicle she struck belonged to, and she did not intentionally back into the vehicle, and she did not flee the scene after the accident, according to the release. So everything they have said about this is completely made up. It's a lie. And also then Mary Franson lied because Minnesota Democrats. Following the incident, Ramaswamy noted on post that the platform formerly known as Twitter, the rest of the peaceful protesters shouldn't be lumped in with the two who are responsible for ramming his campaign vehicle. Well, considering those people are made up in your mind and are imaginary people, yeah, the real human beings shouldn't be looped in with the imaginary people that you've created in your mind. We can all agree on that. Grinnell Police Department refutes Vivek Ramaswamy's claim that protesters intentionally hit his car in the afternoon of Iowa. Our investigation has revealed no evidence to substantiate that information. Two reporters from the Scarlet and Black and the student news site of Grinnell College got a scoop interviewing the student driver who had backed into the campaign vehicle. Zach Spinder Craig and Eleanor Corbin reported it was truly just an accident. Students who hit Ramsey Carr speak out in the media frenzy. So once again, not Minnesota protesters, Grinnell College students. Accident. And by the way, can I just say this about my experience in Iowa when I lived down there twice? Their parking lots are wholly substantial. I mean, this stuff happens all the time. I mean, I don't know if it's horse and buggy parking there. They're still trying to figure out.
The whole state just bad parking.
There's a lot of bad parking lots down there.
Oh.
I think it really actually has to do with, some of these places just had dirt parking lots and then they just paved them and they didn't think about, well, we need to put more than 2 inches between these back parked cars so they can get out. So here we go. Going to the media report of the Grinnell College student who was arraigned, lunatic. Apparently, of course, Vivek Ramaswamy, the Grinnell College student accused of crashing her car into the back of Vivek Ramaswamy's presidential campaign vehicle on Thursday afternoon, said it was an accident, not the purposeful crash. National media, notably conservative outlets, reported it to be. Cecilia Meager, 24, the accused student, also said she was not affiliated with the protest group and engaged with Ramaswamy in Grinnell, and that she did not leave the scene of the crash. The Republican presidential candidate was in Grinnell to record a KCCI Coffee with the Candidates roundtable discussion with 3 undecided Poweshiek County Republican voters at Saints Rest Coffee House. God, that's like the most Iowa paragraph I've ever read. In an incident, seriously.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Presidential season. That's where you're going.
Nothing is more arrogant than the people of Iowa saying, we need to make the decision.
Not quite the Pizza Ranch, though.
A Pizza Ranch would be great, man. If Kirk Cousins was there, just in the background, just getting pizza, that would just, there you go. Johnny Chains. Kirky Chains. In an incident that has since been covered by major national news outlets, the newspaper exclusively interviewed Meager. She provided a perspective on the October 5th incident that differs slightly from the current media reports. Meager said that the information she could provide was limited to insurance process. It was not an intentional accident whatsoever. The media release from the Grinnell Police Department states that they have not found any evidence to substantiate the current narrative of the incidents being intentional. It was truly just an accident. We are completely unaffiliated with the protesters, said Nick Grolofson, Megan's partner, in response to the media characterization, which he said is inaccurate. Grosjean says that it was in the passenger seat of Meager's vehicle at 12:55 p.m., the time of the incident with Ramaswamy's 2023 Ford Expedition. The campaign vehicle had no occupants when it was hit. The AP news article on the incident has been published with the headline, "Protesters Angry About Ukraine and Comments Ram His Empty Car in Iowa," campaign says. The AP story has now been published by the Washington Post, Yahoo News, and the U.S. News and World Report. Once again, don't think AP for any reason is actually intentionally. They are one hell of a compromised news outlet. Basically, they took talking points from a candidate and published it as news. That's all you need to know about the AP. It cites Ramaswamy campaign saying the protester upset about Vivek Ramaswamy's remarks on the aid of Ukraine yelled and swore at the presidential candidate in Iowa on Thursday before jumping into a vehicle, ramming the campaign and speeding off. Fox News also reported the incident as a hit and run. Meager said that following the crash, we just moved over and waited for the police. We, the campaign, never alleged it was a hit and run, said Tricia McLaughlin, Ramaswamy's spokesperson, when asked to comment for the SMB. McLaughlin also shared a police report which cites the damage amount to about $600, which insurance probably will cover, and then we're done here. Daily Mail political reporter Caitlin Corral appears to have been the first to report on the accident. 2 protesters aged 26-22 rammed their vehicle into Vivek Ramaswamy's car as he visited Saints Rest Cafe. The tweet reads, at the time of the writing of the article, the tweet had gathered over 344,000 views. So once again, here's the Daily Mail publishing something which is false, that these were protesters as opposed to possibly an accident. Grinnell Police Department corroborated the accidental nature of the incident in a media release, saying it was reported on social media that 2 protesters had intentionally rammed the Ramaswamy vehicle and fled. Our investigation has revealed no evidence to substantiate the information. Meager says she received $210 traffic summons for unsafe backing. The S&B was at Saints Rest while media carrying the initial AP story were spreading the photo of the damaged car on social media. Were not. This is a developing story. Sure, it's a Democratic thing. Bluestein is charmed about what seems to be the new feature at the bottom of the Franzen Post. Per the Des Moines police, the accident was not intentional, and the driver who hit the vehicle did not flee. So basically, they put a clarification on there. As to the screenshot reveals, viewers are asked to find out what added context and helpful that there's a bottom to rate it. Franson's loyal critics know what to do. But that's basically this is the whole point of this. It's not about the truth. It's not about the truth. This is not about the truth. It's about narrative validation. They want to believe these angry people just stormed over and ripped the car in two. And a decent-hearted Vivek Ramaswamy just said, let them go. The rest of the protesters are fine. Now, first of all, let's call out that crap. You don't make up a story about fake protesters damaging your car and then get the ability to say, I have no problem with the protesters. Clearly you do there, Johnny Sensitive. So, you can shut up now. Second of all, these people will never admit the truth. They won't. You think Mary Franson's about to go out there and say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I got the wrong information. Apparently, this had nothing to do with the protest. It was just an accident in a parking lot, and insurance going to cover it, and we're done. No, of course not. If she does, I'll be shocked. We'll have to check Mary's social medias, but she blocked me. Although I do see her on the other sites that I do have. So, I mean, it's just fun. Yeah, you're blocking me if I have to see you. Anywho, I doubt she'll basically admit she's wrong because all this is about is feeding narrative validation. And these people in these safe red districts, even though all these politicians have done for 40 years in these red districts is hurt them more and more and more. The real Pied Piper of the event is the Republicans have managed to summon their frustration and anger, not at the people who've created their problems, but at mythical people that they keep saying, blame them. The last thing I want to say about this is I want to remind people of when people were blocking highways. The Black Lives Matter protesters, people protesting George Floyd, when they were blocking roads. What was the narrative from Republicans? Not all Republicans, mind you, but a lot of them. Ram your car into them, kill as many as you can, then pull over 3 blocks later and say, I was scared, because we're writing laws that basically say you can murder people with your car and get away with it. I remember that. Who else remembers that? I remember that. I remember Republicans telling people to ram protesters with their car and then just pull over a few blocks later, call the cops and say, I was scared, and you'll get away with it. That was their argument, that people should just ram protesters when they see them. Doesn't sound like so much. And here all of a sudden it's a case where not a protest happens and they can't help themselves. They have to find a way to vilify the other side. If you guys keep voting for these idiots, I can't help you. They haven't delivered on any of their promises for 40 years. You've gotten poorer, you got less benefits. The only thing that's saving you in a lot of these red districts is Twin Cities metro area tax dollars, fact, and the fact that the DFL is not a heartless bunch of people and actually passes laws to help the entire state, not just a handful of specific districts. And you're welcome. The DFL has delivered for you. But you guys, if your main concern here is believing these Democrats, they're just out of control versus, well, gosh, Mary Franson hasn't done crap for us and compared poor, hungry people to feeding wild animals. Well, heaven forbid you enlighten yourself, but that's not my job to do that. You have to be somewhat willing. And right now, all you're doing is devouring what you can at the disinformation trough. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Let's take a break. Come on back. It's the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.
Join Twin Cities Quorum as they celebrate their 30th annual National Coming Out Day Luncheon. This inspirational and transformational event gives voice to the power of living openly, honestly, and with authenticity at work, in our families, and in our faith and across our lives. The realities of living an authentic life are deeper than just being out. We all have many layers of identity, and we must work together to create a world where people can bring their whole self to everything they do. The National Coming Out Day Luncheon serves as a celebration of who we are individually and together. Reserve your tickets today for Friday, October 13th. This year's National Coming Out Day Luncheon will be at the Minneapolis Convention Center in Minneapolis. The Marketplace Expo opens at 10 a.m., and the luncheon will begin at 11:45. Tickets are available to members for $60 or non-members for $75. Learn more and purchase your tickets at TwinCitiesQuorum.com on the events page. That's TwinCities, QUORUM.com.
My grandpa Jim Warner treated his customers like family, and Warner Stellian is still doing that today. I'm Angela Warner, and to thank you for 69 years, Warner Stellian Appliance is offering unbeatable savings of up to 40% off, free dishwasher installation, and no interest for 2 years with your Warner's card. Plus, go to WarnerStellian.com for an exclusive $50 coupon. These deals end October 18th, so hurry into one of our 10 Minnesota stores. You'll love your new appliances and Warner Stellian.
2023 is here, and you can make it the year of the Eagle with the National Eagle Center. You and your family can enjoy exciting Eagle experiences, including field trips, private habitat tours, and exclusive behind-the-scenes tours. Meet live eagles up close, view bald eagles and golden eagles in the wild, and receive personal one-on-one education with dedicated and knowledgeable Eagle experts as you journey into the world of eagles like never before. Learn more and plan your unforgettable Eagle experience today at nationaleaglecenter.org/experiences.
I went to Caitlin Carell. She's with the Daily Mail, and just said she did update her story saying, Grinnell, please say there's no evidence the crash was intentional. And the student told Grinnell paper it wasn't purposeful. But she is saying the Vivek Ramaswamy campaign told her they have video and confirmed to me the driver flipped off Vivek, yelled profanities, and honked at them before the crash. So that's what they're saying. But that's basically, once again, there you got the Grinnell police and the protesters who did not leave, or not the protesters, the students who did not leave, who were not protesters, basically there. This is completely and totally made up. This is a completely and totally made up thing. And I'll tell you this, Vivek, go ahead and release this so-called video, because what you probably got is a video of someone else. And if you release that video and you put it up on news, then you're claiming someone crashed their car into you and they didn't, which opens you up for a lawsuit. And you're not about to do that. So needless to say, they're lying. And by the way, once again, we have to make sure we point out the pathetic nature of the AP and the Daily Mail, and a lot of these guys who basically just take talking points from the campaigns and just put, sources say at the end of it, acting like they've done their job. News media today is pathetic. And part of it is this. I mean, there are a lot of campaigns which will look at the news media and tell them, you have to report news how we tell you to report it, or else you can't be on the campaign trail with us. And so they cower and they hide and they do all that stuff. The reality is that, it is pretty embarrassing that this is how it is. And it's embarrassing on a lot of levels. It's embarrassing these people are lying so much. It's embarrassing that they're running with this in the narrative, even though it's not true. And it's embarrassing the fact that these people will never once, this is intentional. It's just intentional. It's narrative validation. It's not anything to do with facts. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. A good chunk of the rest of this hour is going to be spent on school issues, because there's two that have been going on. One, a recurring story I'm going to talk about. The other one, a newer story that I want to truss out here as well. But both of them had the same vibe, which is this. You have people trying to dictate what other people can and cannot learn. And that is not a good thing. We're going to start in, this is Ham Lake. Oh, it's a lake of ham. Who doesn't? Oh, Ham Lake. Oh, delicious. Anyway, as one in five students at the Twin Cities Charter School were kept home in protest last week as Muslim parents demanded the school drop its use of an LGBTQ-friendly picture book. Starting Tuesday, September 26th, between 140 and 192 of the approximately 1,000 students at Da Vinci Academy in Ham Lake were marked absent each day last week, assumed due to the issue, said Holly Fisher, the school's executive director, in an email to Sahan Journal. Smaller numbers of students were marked absent for other reasons. Da Vinci Academy uses the books in its kindergarten through fifth grade classes as part of an anti-bias curriculum. Fisher explained at a September 25th school board meeting that the books are intended to help children understand differences in age-appropriate ways and a need that became evident when children returned to school struggling with social skills after pandemic closures. The 120 books curated by the local nonprofit AmazeWorks include stories about immigrants and children with disabilities. 24 have LGBTQ characters. Several times each month, teachers read AmazeWorks books to their classes. Sahan Journal interviewed 2 Muslim parents with the children at Da Vinci School, both of whom later asked not to be named in the story. They told Sahan Journal that teaching children about LGBTQ issues infringes on their rights as parents and on their religion. One parent, an imam, told Sahan Journal that homosexuality is a major sin in Islam. All right. After a 4-day attendance strike, the students returned to class October 2nd. At its next meeting scheduled for October 23rd, the school board plans to discuss setting up a parent committee to review the issue. Fisher's also arranged a meeting with the Minnesota chapter of the Council of American Islamic Relations, which is representing the parents. But parents say their part, they may pull their kids from Da Vinci Academy altogether if the school does not change the curriculum. Da Vinci Academy, a K-8 charter school 20 miles north of Minneapolis, provides instructional focused on arts and scientists. Students' test scores register above the state average, and black and white students have similar scores in math and reading, a rarity for a state known for achievement gaps. There are 1 or 2 good charter schools. There are. But every bad charter school hangs their hat on these good ones, and there's where the problem is. 60% of Da Vinci's Academy students are white, but the school's enrollment has increased in recent years, fueled by its reputation among Muslim families who praised its academics and its diversity. Between 2018 and 2019 and 2022 and 2023 school years, enrollment increased by nearly 20%. The majority of the new students were black, and half of them speak a language other than English at home, including Arabic, Oromo, Somali, and Aramaic. With so many Muslim students at Da Vinci Academy, parents say the school should have consulted them before including the new material. By the way, you're about to see, if you think about this for 2 seconds, you can see where this is going. In recent years, Republican left efforts to limit discussions on LGBT issues in schools, like Florida's Don't Say Gay law, have received extensive media attention. In some pockets of the country, Muslim families have pushed back too. In the past year, Muslim families pushed for an LGBT book ban in Dearborn, Michigan, protested a policy aimed at affirming children's gender identities in Burnsville, and sued for the right to opt their kids out of LGBT picture books in Maryland. Under Minnesota state law, is everybody listening? Okay. Parents have the right to review the curriculum and make reasonable arrangements for alternative instruction if they find any material objectionable. I want to stop right here. Every one of these parents, if they don't want this book read to their kid or their kid to have access to it, have that right already. So is this about their kids or everybody else's kid? There's the problem. At the school board meeting, Fisher said that any parent can opt out of the material and that she had accommodated every such request. Many students already opt out of certain lessons, and the school provides alternative opportunities, she said. At the same time, she stressed that the school has children who need the LGBTQ affirming books. So, once again, all these parents who are acting as if these books are being forced on their kids, that's not true. They can opt out of that book. Their kid will get alternative books, alternative classes. This school seems to be doing the best they can to make sure and accommodating every request to make sure no kid has to see this book. So if the individual parents don't have a freaking problem with this, this is a bunch of parents trying to dictate that no kid can look at these books. And that is wrong. all my best to you in your religion. If that's what you feel it says, that's your religion. But that's not anyone else's religion. And if you have kids in the school who do need to have these representations presented to them, are you going to demand those kids be removed from the classrooms too? You don't want the book read. We already accommodate you. Stop trying to raise other people's kids. End of story. God, I can't stand this. Stop trying to raise other people's kids. Do not tell me or anyone what books their kids can and cannot read. You don't want your kid to read the book? Fine. The school accommodates you. There's a related story. We got to go back to Hamline University, and we're going to talk about, once again, the school, at least by the appearances, trying to do their best to argue that somehow the students should be able to dictate what is and is not taught at a college level course. And I can't tell you how frustrated I've been, because I keep asking the question and no one wants to answer the question. Why the heck didn't the kid read the syllabus? Why? I'll tell you what. We'll take a break, come back. These two stories are connected because, once again, this is people trying to dictate what other people can and cannot do with their kids. And that's not right. End of story. You don't want your kid involved in this? That's fine. That's your right. We have state laws, and the school is accommodating you. Stop trying to dictate that for everyone else. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. We'll take a break. Come on back. It's the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.
You know the day destroys the night, night divides the day.
Hi, I'm Scott Shambot from Shambot Family Dentistry. We're the fear-free, shame-free dental office. We know dental anxiety and dental phobia are real. We'll take the time to get to know you and give you what you need to be comfortable at all times. We offer free nitrous oxide laughing gas and have high-tech options to help you feel calm and relaxed during your appointments. We'll help you get through every appointment in the most pain-free way possible. If you're having a dental emergency, we'll try and get you in the same day you call, because we don't like to see anyone in pain. As my daughter Rachel says,
if you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. I've been going to Shambot Family Dentistry for years. They get me in last minute when I'm in pain and make regular checkups easy and comfortable.
Shambot Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at ShambotFamilyDentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
Seward Co-op is now offering convenient self-serve and prepackaged hot options and salad bars at both the Franklin and Friendship stores. Breakfast items available daily until 11 a.m. and brunch served all day every Sunday. Their weekly lunch and dinner menus highlight cuisines from around the world. They offer vegan, vegetarian, and gluten-free options daily. 95% of the ingredients used are organic from small-scale, local community food producers whenever possible. More at seward.coop.
Hey, it's Tom. Fossil fuels continue to have negative impacts on our environment. Luckily, there are more ways now than ever to use renewable energy in your home or business. All Energy Solar offers smart energy solutions like custom solar paneling, electric vehicle chargers, and energy storage. Solar panel systems can last for decades, meaning you can help the environment and cut back on electric bills for years to come. There are incentives and rebates available to most people who install solar energy, too. Last year, the federal solar tax credit increased to a 30% tax credit. This incentive can be used in combination with other incentives from your utility, county, or city. But don't delay or miss out, as many of these incentives are limited to only a certain number of people. So have a professional from All Energy Solar help you discover how solar can power up your property while saving on your energy costs. Call 800-620-3370 or visit allenergysolar.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for scattered rain showers throughout today with a high near 52. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 40, and Saturday, partly sunny with a high near 51. Get a taste of authentic Szechuan and Mandarin cuisine at the Great Wall Restaurant. From hot and sour soup to Peking duck, they've got all of your favorites covered. Conveniently located just south of 50th and France and Edina, order for takeout or view the full menu at GreatWallEdina.com. That's GreatWallEdina.com.
Brett was preoccupied for a second.
Yeah, that's on me.
And here's, you get the point of what I do here. I can't do anything. So for all the people that saw me on the camera there, we're just hanging out together then at that point, man. So this is why you need to watch the show. In case stuff like this happens, you can see it's like, I don't know. I guess I'll play Minesweeper, you know? Which I would be doing if not for this show anyway. So
there you go. Yeah. My apologies. Yes.
That and making OnlyFans content. I know. All right. So once again, just want to recap why this is so frustrating about what's happening up at the Da Vinci Academy in Ham Lake. It does forget about the fact that it's LGBTQ books for a second. If a parent does not like any book there, for any reason, and does not want that book exposed to their children, well, good. They can opt out of it. They can, well, I don't say good per se, but okay, fine. How about I say fine? Fine. You can opt out of that book. Your child will have an alternative, activity during that time. You don't have to read it. They won't be exposed to it. They won't be given it. That's the case. Done. So what's the problem? If you're trying at that point, if there are those kind of accommodations for every parent, which is basically, as a parent myself of children, all that any parent needs, then anything else you're doing, any other temper tantrum or fit you're throwing is about stopping other people from reading a book that you disagree with. And that's not America. It's not supposed to be America. It could be Florida, but that's not America, man. You're right. There are some things in my life that I have said, kids, nope, you can't see that. You can't watch that. You can't read that because they were too young. But that was my choice for my kids. I didn't roll them up and down the street and demand every parent on the block give me their copy of the DVD or VHS or the book or whatever the case may be. This is why this is frustrating. This is not about individual choice or keeping your kids safe. The school is doing everything in their power to do that. It's about stopping other kids who clearly, as the school says, need to have these examples in their curriculum for their own needs from having them there. That's not right, man. All right, let's go to Hamline University. Now, once again, I want to reiterate what happened here a year ago. A art historian drew up a course on a fine arts. This is fine arts. And part of the college course was about religious art. And there was a painting of Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad. Now, and for many people of the Islamic faith, any depiction of Muhammad is, it's unacceptable and they don't like it. But even CARN, the Council of American Islamic Relations, has said there are exceptions, such as teaching art history, where at certain points there are these historical paintings. We don't just go out and start burning paintings in the parking lot because we don't like them. And that's just not something you do. All right? It's not something you do. And by the way, just a quick little side note, if I can. Yeah, we can tear down the Columbus statue because that's just a statue that was put up recently by white people to praise a white person who was a horrible human being. You wouldn't put up a Jeffrey Epstein statue right now. You wouldn't do that because he was a horrible human being. Christopher Columbus sold 9 and 10-year-old native girls as sex currency. He shouldn't be shouldn't be acknowledged. I mean, obviously, you teach him in history classes because there is historical provenance there. So you don't wipe it off the planet, but you don't put up a statue for the guy saying he was a swell fella. No, he wasn't. He was a horrible. Even at the time he existed, he was so atrocious that the European courts felt he was a monster. That's all you need to know about how bad he was. There was a time that is different than a time when people painted and praised religious leaders who now the mentality is today that's not okay. But once again, even the Council of American and Islamic Relations have basically said, no, that if it's an art history class, that's you've got to expect that. The teacher, Erica Lopez Prater, in the syllabus, very clearly, and once again, the entire teaching schedule was approved by the college. In the syllabus, she very clearly said, we are going to be viewing images, a 14th century image of the Prophet Muhammad. Be prepared. And if you do not want to see this, let us know. We will coordinate and organize to where you do not have to see it. In the syllabus, very clearly, it was in the syllabus. Once again, faculty signs off on it. A student, a Muslim student, takes the class, apparently did not read the syllabus, which I'm stunned by why you didn't read the syllabus. Needless to say, in the week or so up and before the actual event, what happened was the teacher kept saying, coming up on this day, we are going to be viewing the picture of the Prophet Muhammad. If you do not want to be here for that class, we can make accommodations for you. For some reason, the student did not heed these warnings. And even at the beginning of this class, they did, once again, I understand this is a very controversial painting. We don't want to upset anyone. If you do not want to see this, we can make accommodations. Nothing. Shows the picture. Oh my God, this teacher's trying to force the picture of Prophet Muhammad on us. Okay. And once again, it's the school grossly overreacted, called it Islamophobic, which it wasn't, and basically fired the teacher. The teacher is basically currently suing the school and actually has merit on one of the case arguments that they were making, which will end up costing the school quite a bit of money. And Hamlin's reputation as an academic place is there because, no, you should not have a student. Once again, I mean, I understand that you make accommodations for this. You should not have a student basically dictating to a professor what they can and cannot teach. It's the professor is hired to be the expert in the field in the class it's there. Say that you're in a health class and they have mouth to mouth and someone feels as if, well, that's not appropriate. That's forced sexual contact. And you're saying, but yeah, it's a health class. We're trying to teach mouth to mouth CPR. Well, you can't teach that because you're just asking people to get upset about this. I mean, it's different because obviously there's a religious overtone here in the case of the Prophet Muhammad, but it's the same kind of vibe, is that the student was warned repeatedly and at no point took the warning seriously or just didn't even read the syllabus. Needless to say, Hamlin had their reputation tarnished pretty good. But on September 12th, Hamlin University held a forum on academic freedom. The forum was presented in response to the incident that occurred last year involving the teaching of a work of Islamic art containing a 14th century image of the Prophet Muhammad. In a world art history course, the religiously observant Muslim student complained the administration called the lesson undeniably Islamophobic, which it wasn't, and failed to rehire the instructor, Erica Lopez Prater. These actions were widely criticized across the political spectrum and around the world. The American Association of University Professors conducted an investigation and concluded the professor's conduct in the classroom was not only justifiable and appropriate on both scholarly and pedagogical grounds, but it was also protected by the academic freedom. The Hamlin administration was wrong to characterize this decision as Islamophobic. After the media firestorm, the president and board chair issued a statement acknowledging that the use of the word Islamophobic was flawed. No, it was just stupid, and frankly, if you ask me, but, whatever. Hamlin's administration, the UUAP report stated, had an inaccurate and harmful understanding of the nature of academic freedom in the classroom. The report called out the administration's de facto campaign of vilification against the professor and criticized the failure to extend due process to her. It's been almost 1 year since the classroom incident, and despite the damage to the university's image, there has not been any internal inquiry. Not a single administrator has issued an apology or taken responsibility. Instead, Hamlin's administration, after having a long period to reflect on the media response, the AAUP report, and the statements of outraged faculty, organized Academic Freedom and Cultural Perspectives, Challenges for Higher Ed Today and Tomorrow. Despite its promising title, the event, which included introductions from David Everett, Hamlin's Chief Diversity Officer, Phanis S. Millard, Hamlin's president, and a keynote address from Michael Eric Dyson, was essentially a full-throated defense of the administration's actions against Lopez Prater. Of the 4 panelists who convened after the keynote, only one, David Schultz, who we've actually had on the show before, was drawn from a Hamlin faculty. Unsurprisingly, he alone seemed to invite any skepticism about the administration's actions, albeit in a rather indirect way. The others, Stacey Hawkins of Rutgers Law School, and the anti-racist activist Tim Wise and Robert DiAngelo, did not discuss the controversy in any substantial way. The event was opened by David Everett, who said last year the act of teaching a work of art in a classroom after having given many content warnings in writing in the classroom was undeniably inconsiderate, disrespectful, and Islamophobic, thereby setting the entire debacle in motion. Everett said those things about a faculty member who was teaching her class in accordance with the standards of her profession and who did nothing wrong, and he said with them without even talking to the professor or even exchanging emails with her. Nor did Everett, in his handling of the student complaint, ever bring Lopez Prater to the student together in a room to discuss the issue, surely a best practice for diversity office. Lopez Prater, Everett said, was no longer a part of the Hamlin community in light of her actions in the teaching art, by the way, teaching art. In the right instructional context, this classroom event could have been a powerful teachable moment, but Hamlin's leadership, which was in the past has advocated the approach of restorative justice, decided to be retributive. And I'm going to tell you what, I'll take a break, come on back, talk more about this, because once again, you don't like something, that's fine. And I want to be very clear here, whether it's the Hamlin story or this story, we make accommodations for people to make sure that you're not uncomfortable. You don't feel as if your religion is being offended. We make accommodations for you. You are more than welcome to take them up. Is this about you or basically stopping anyone else from ever seeing things that you disagree with? Because it sounds much more like the last one. You're trying to stop other people from seeing things that you disagree with. And talking about slippery slopes, considering the Christian nation that we got in this country today, that is a freaking slippery slope. There are already Christians that say every house should have a Bible in it. Think about that for a second. That's not good either in any capacity. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. It's the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.
Hi, this is Todd from 30 Bales on Main Street in Hopkins. My co-founder Tom and I developed our restaurant to celebrate everything Midwestern cuisine has to offer. Our upbeat neighborhood gathering place brings together bright personalities, bold recipes, clean ingredients, and craft spirits that play with the unique flavors of the Midwest. The menu at 30 Bales is inspired by seasonal ingredients grown close to home. Find us across the street from the Hopkins Center for the Arts at 1106 Main Street with plenty of free parking. Go to 30bales.com to learn more.
I love my Toyota vehicles, so when I have to get service done, there's only one place I go, Rudy Luther Toyota. They know Toyotas inside and out. It starts with them checking your alignment and tire treads with their Hunter Quick Check Drive inspection service. Oil changes, tires, batteries, wipers, no matter what you need done, they can help you with reliable Toyota parts and the best service team in Minnesota. Check out their website, rudyluthertoyota.com, for service and parts specials just for Toyota vehicles. Get your Toyota serviced at Rudy Luther Toyota, 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950, here to tell you about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If your home was hit with the most recent storms, trust the most well-reviewed exterior construction company, Snap Construction, for a free home inspection.
This is Ryan, owner of Snap Construction. There are a lot of great construction companies in town. My advice is to take your time and do your research. Make sure they are locally owned. and that they guarantee their craftsmanship for life. Also, you want to find a company that's been in business for at least 10 years. You want to work with a company that's going to be there long after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims, and we'll help you through the process.
Don't go with the out-of-town fly-by-night contractor. Most storm damage goes missed by the untrained eye. Trust Snap Construction for your free storm damage evaluation. For your free storm damage evaluation, call Snap Construction at 612-333-SNAP or visit them online at snapconstruction.com. That's 612-333-SNAP or snapconstruction.com.
Once again, I want to make sure, because people always have a tendency of half listening to what I'm saying. By all means, no one should be forced into looking at something that they disagree with, especially if they feel religiously that it is offensive. I don't believe something should be forced upon you. And at no point in either of these stories was anything forced on anyone. In the one case, the parents can choose to opt out. It sounds like many parents did. But there, once again, it's not enough. No one in the school can read the book. In this case, why didn't you read the syllabus? Why? Why didn't you read the syllabus? Why did you ignore all the warnings? Because at that point, I feel sorry that you saw the thing because it was offensive to you. But at that point, you almost seem to have gone out of your way to see it and then are trying to use that argument that no one should be able to see that piece of art, even though Karn basically says, no, if it's an art history class, that is a viable reason to show that image. But exactly as the teacher did, with plenty of warning in advance. President Miller was eager to note that she did not see this event as a defensive move, but rather an offensive one. Miller's insistence that this is not defensive foreshadowed the event as it was, in many ways, highly defensive. Miller's comments at the event clearly directed at the faculty who, she said, continue to teach in ways that are more likely to mirror the educational experience that we endured. When we exercise academic freedom, she said, we must still see who is in our classrooms, and she advised that the faculty must not treat students as cattle to be prodded and moved in the direction of we want. Once again, this teacher gave how many warnings that you did not have to be in this classroom. That's not cattle. The real threat to academic freedom, she concluded, occurs in places like Florida and Texas. It is not, or Hamlin, where it is not threatened in that way in Minnesota. You say, it's not being threatened that way at Hamlin University. Miller fails to see that there are many ways that academic freedom can be threatened. Despite the important differences, there's key similarity between much of what is happening in places like Florida and Texas and what actually happened at Hamlin last year. In both incidences, a particular religion or ideological viewpoint is being used in its attempt to deny everyone in the community the opportunity to see certain material. It is clear that Lopez Prater had no intent to upset anyone. She was teaching an important work of Islamic art, which is part of her job. She showed concern for her Muslim students by giving them multiple warnings in writing and orally to avert their eyes when she showed the image if they so wanted. This has nothing. This is nothing like the example some given more by many speakers of the event: the Holocaust denial, flat Earth theory, fomenting an insurrection, using the N-word in the classroom. None of those absurdly inappropriate ideas are remotely similar to the challenge that arose with Lopez Prater's art history class, and that many use on a regular basis, responsibly teaching relevant and suitable academic content that might be disturbing to some students. What happened to Lopez Prater, whose academic freedom was clearly denied, was outrageous and unfair. It also serves as a chilling cautionary tale to us, especially those who teach controversial subjects. 100% agreed. Would you allow, and I tell you what, I can't, once again, I want to be able to say this. If you are truly offended by something, it's not my place to say you're not offended. I am not about forcing something onto someone that they disagree with. But I am 100% about a minority in a community, a minority of the population, dictating for the majority of the population what can and can be acceptable. I don't know if that's right. Hour 2 is up next.
Hi, this is Paul Metza. Honored to tell you I've been broadcasting my Wall of Power radio hour show on AM 950 for over 9 years. We have had musicians that have played with Bob Dylan and Prince, local musicians, authors, comedians, CIA agents. My motto is cool people from all walks of life in all 50 states. It airs every Saturday night at 6 p.m. on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Hello, this is Ellie Krug with Ellie 2.0 Radio. Now my show will be on Saturdays from 10 to 11 and replayed on Sundays from 1 to 2. You will get to the best of Ellie 2.0 with talking about idealism with guests who come in and who are idealistic, who are trying to change the world. And you will get me, Super Idealist. Tune in. We can't wait to hear from you. And you'll hear from me Saturdays from 10 to 11.
Come see the Trained Chimp. It's the Matt McNeil Show, 3 to 5 p.m. weekday afternoons, right here on AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Key news. I'm Ed Donahue. Stocks ended the day with big gains. It was boosted by the Labor Department's September jobs report that shows an unexpected gain of 336,000 jobs. The AP's Sagar Magani has the story.
Economists had predicted employers added 163,000 jobs last month. The surprisingly high actual total suggests many companies remain confident enough to keep hiring at a brisk pace despite high inflation and high interest rates. The job market's ongoing strength makes it more likely the Federal Reserve will raise its key rate again before next year.
Stocks had started the day lower. President Biden says his plan is working.
Bidenomics is about investing in America and investing in American workers. And businesses are investing more in manufacturing than ever before. We're bringing the supply chains home.
In New York, former President Donald Trump's civil fraud trial will go on as scheduled next week after he lost a bid to postpone it. Trump wanted to stop the trial while he fights a pretrial ruling that could strip him of control of his assets, including Trump Tower. A suspension letter sent to him by state regulators shows the owner of a Colorado funeral home where 115 decaying bodies were found claimed he was doing animal taxidermy at the facility. Randy Keller is the local coroner.
Fremont County has declared a local disaster emergency, which makes state resources available to us.
The Return to Nature Funeral Home has been unregistered with the state for 10 months. It performs green burials without embalming chemicals or metal caskets. Imprisoned activist Narges Mohammadi has won the Nobel Peace Prize. She has campaigned for women's rights, democracy, and against the death penalty in Iran for years. The United Auto Workers Union says it will not expand its strike against Detroit's big three automakers. This is AP News.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-452-5050. That's 1-800-452-5050. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-452-5050. That's 1-800-452-5050.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save.
Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Hi, I'm Rachel Shamblatt. My dad is Dr. Scott Shamblatt from Shamblatt Family Dentistry. A lot of people are afraid of the dentist, but you don't have to be. My dad makes going to the dentist comfortable and even fun. He won't be mad if you haven't seen a dentist in a long time. He just wants to take care of you and your teeth. If you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
Shamblatt Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblattfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
Hi, I'm Peter Solak.
And I'm Adam Ostrowski.
We are here at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces to talk about the joy of live fire cooking. Cooking over a live fire is the oldest and most basic form of cooking.
What's new is in the way fire is handled and its heat is managed.
It's easier to experience and enjoy the smell and taste of food cooked over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces sells and installs live fire grills, fire pits, and ovens. Let us help you experience the smell, the taste, the fun of cooking with fire.
Pizza was first made and is still best made in an open fire oven. The radiant and conductive heat of a live fire is unmatched for wood roasting and baking artisan breads too.
Come see the many ways you can cook over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces has over 35 working wood and gas units on display at the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis. More information at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that works for you. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for scattered rain showers throughout today with a high near 52. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 40, and Saturday, partly sunny with a high near 51. Get a taste of authentic Szechuan and Mandarin cuisine at the Great Wall Restaurant. From hot and sour soup to Peking duck, they've got all of your favorites covered. Conveniently located just south of 50th and France in Edina, order for takeout or view the full menu at GreatWallEdina.com. That's GreatWallEdina.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
AM 950, the Progressive Voice of Minnesota, the Matt McNeil Show on your Friday. Good to be with you. It really still is a slow trickle of getting people back in studio, Derek. They just don't, they're not coming. It's nice to have people come back in, but it's been so long. I used to have people in here all the time. Thank you for coming down to the station, my friend. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Joining us right now from the Native American Community Development Institute is Derek DeLille. Derek is currently with them, and he is, I want to make sure I get the title correct here, the manager of Make Voting a Tradition and Civic Engagement. He's from the Bad River Ojibwe. He's kind enough to take some time today because they have a big event coming up here. This is on Monday, correct? From 11 to 3, if I'm not mistaken. It's the Indigenous Voter Registration Celebration Day. And he's kind enough to take some time to talk about that. Thank you, Derek.
Yes. Glad to talk to you. I'm glad to be here. I'm Derek DeLille, of course, with MVAT, we call it for short, Make Voting a Tradition program. That's a program of NACD, Native American Community Development Institute. We are located in the heart and soul of the American Indian Cultural Corridor. And we are a systems change organization. So we're working for changing the systems. We also, I like a point about our organization to say we are also a asset-based organization. We don't work from a deficit where we see that we need to come in and fill for a deficit. We look to the community and we seek out the assets that are already there.
Mm-hmm. And that's something I think that your organization, the success rate of the Native American vote in this state cannot be denied. You're welcome, DFL. And but you have to say that the Native American vote has delivered, and they have delivered because the organization on the ground, whether up in northern Minnesota or here in the city of Franklin in 55, you're looking at the understanding of this, the way you get things changed. And boy, this last session was a great example of that. The way you get real change is by making sure your voice is heard. And you guys, by not trying to grasp too big of a thing, just taking the challenge in front of you and running with it, you guys have done a magnificent job over there.
Yeah, I'm pretty new to the program, so I got to give a lot of love to my coworker, Jolene Jones. If you're listening, Jolene.
I've had Jolene on before.
She does an amazing job. She knows what she's doing. She knows where the people need it, where to be, how to get things done, and also to get our voices heard. That's the biggest thing. I think being heard for Native Americans is very important. We're small, but we're mighty. We do have numbers in Minnesota, and if we can spread the information, if we can get it out there to our Native nations and have everyone aware of what's going on, who's doing what, in what offices, I think we can make a lot of change happen.
There has been a massive failure here. I mean, on multiple levels. the ignoring of the Native American population of the state has been an egregious, on top of egregious, mistake made by the Caucasian population. Understandably, that's something that we need to fix. This is one of the reasons why I love being the lead-in for Native Roots Radio. I'm Awake. We actually are starting to see voices be heard more. It still has a long way to go. We need a lot more voices out there, but it's by addressing this and this face on saying, no, this is a community that can no longer be ignored, because the reality is that the injustices that have already happened have to be addressed. But at the same time, we are here now and we have a voice, and dang it, we're going to be heard. And I commend you on that. And I only can hope that we can continue with the Native American community and all the communities to basically make sure, everyone has a fair share here. We all should be heard, right? Everyone, great. This is great.
Yeah, I think some of the importance of our Native American voice is our heart. We speak from the heart. And when you speak from the heart, a lot of times hard truths come up. And that's what we're all about. It's been throughout history that when times get rough and a Native speaks up, a lot of times it is going to be hard truth. We're going to get right down to the matter. We want to acknowledge things for what they are. I think it's a beautiful time to be in the work that I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of funding for the environment going on right now. It is a very hot topic right now. So it's a good place to be. Of course, being Native American in my community, my people, that's one of our first thoughts is what's going on with the earth, what's going on with the air, what's going on with the water, what's going on with everything in this universe. That's what we want to be. We want to boil it down to the simple facts and tell the truth and get it out there. And in that way, I love that you said acknowledgement. In our oldest teachings, that's one of the first things we want to do is acknowledge that there is a problem. Okay, now we've acknowledged it. Now we can move on from there. So acknowledgement is always a beautiful thing to see.
You bring up the water, and this is one of the things that I talk with Robert Pilot and their crew on the show after mine all the time about this. And we had the forever chemicals. How many of those kids got killed out in the East Metro because of the forever chemicals? The entire time since the 60s, the Native American tribes had been screaming, you got to stop what's happening to our water. And we just had the Line 3 protest. And I said, guys, in 80 years, when you get ready to build the memorial saying the Native Americans were right, we'll skip that whole thing. In 80 years, you don't need to do that. Just listen to them now. Because as much as a lot of people out there might not want to accept this or might not understand this, the Native Americans have been right the entire time when it comes to water and air. We need to listen to them because they're right on this. And all we're doing is treading water until, well, basically we're just doing that basically makes us sick. This is what the Native American population, the Native American community, and all these communities, there's always things that we can learn, and we need to just stop talking and let them speak, because if you hear what they're saying, they've been right from the get-go.
Yeah, a lot of times I think, I don't think it's so much being right. I think it goes back to truth. It just goes back to what is right for the universe, what is right for our soil. When you talk about the health of the soil in the South Side, where our Native people are in Little Earth, the soil itself is contaminated. That's a rough truth. And why is that? That's where we want to go. When we have a factory right in that very neighborhood that's putting out contaminants that are just ruining the air, where are those contaminants dropping? They're dropping right in our neighborhood, and we're right there. And so you're going to see high rates of asthma and many other things. That's a hard truth, but we want to get to the bottom of it because we want our kids healthy. We want to give them a shot. When I was younger, it was a different world. Um, I could take it. I think we were built a little bit different back in those days. I was raised to be tough and just grin and bear it and tighten up the boots and let's go. Um, I don't want that for these kids. I think they deserve better, and where they're going to get better is from us. We're now doing the work. We're the ones making the change. We are the ones out here in and at the tables and talking to people like you. Now we're on the air. We're doing these are beautiful things that we're doing. You're raising up our voice. I love that. I really appreciate you having us.
I think if I and from just my perspective is there are too many times that white people have tried to be the voice. It's not my job. My job is to basically just, if we only listen to them, white people, listen to them, because you're talking about the pollution in the neighborhood. It's eventually, it's on the people. It lands on the people. It's in the Mississippi River. And one of the things I always think about, you go fly over the Mississippi River to the south, and it looks like Willy Wonka's chocolate river. It's been so polluted and stuff. If we don't start taking this seriously and listening to what the Native American population is telling us is right and wrong and how the world works, then it's not there, and it's not going to be as nice as it is today. And still, reality is there's still a lot of problems with it, even here with the farm runoff and stuff. When you talk about the Native American corridor, let's talk about that. It feels like it's getting better, but it also, as you said, the Native American community wants just the same fair shake that every other community gets. And by the way, that's the least we can do, people. Everyone gets the same opportunities. Is the community getting there? Do you feel as if are we getting, cleaner soil, more opportunity, better development, cheaper housing? Is that stuff, is that happening, or is it still, how much of a need is in that corridor?
I see it happening. There's still a great need, but I do see it happening. I think we're making a lot of progress. We just spoke about, again, when I was younger and the families that have passed away, the alcohol epidemic. Let's keep it real. These are things that came from a certain place. Though the drinking epidemic and the drug epidemics, because there was multiple, those things stemmed from somewhere. They were stemming from us not being proud, and maybe that was stripped. Being degraded is that's a tough place to grow up as a kid. And then, like you were saying, with the opportunities, when the opportunities aren't there for a man, I'll just speak as a man, that's a really tough place to be. Men want to protect, men want to get the food. We want to provide a home, take care of our kids. We want all the things that other people are getting. And when you're not getting those things, it's just another hit to the gut, and it kind of knocks you down. So from what I've seen, I see a lot of development going up. There's good things going on. These kids, like I've mentioned, they're bright, they're smiling, they're talkative, they're not hanging their heads, they're walking tall, they're going for it in school. There's this whole new generation, and that's the importance of why I'm here today, is to speak on that and say, yes, something is happening. We need to keep this going. Come on, we can do this. We can make things happen, and that's why I love my work. That's why I love my job.
When we talk about voting here, and you talk about the kids, talk about the fact that I think now have more Native American representation in the House, Senate, the lieutenant governor, we have more Native American representation. So what is kind of the idea of a myth is actually now much more visible, that there are opportunities that you can represent not only the Native American community, but the whole community as a whole. And that talk a little bit about that, how important it is that when elections show that the Native American voices are the voices that we all want to hear.
That's the biggest reason I took this job. Voting, I kind of looked at that and I said, well, that I'd have a lot to learn there. I don't know. And then I saw the last part, manager of Make Voting a Tradition and civic engagement. Those two words were the ones that got me, because I know what that means. I'm going to get out and I'm going to speak to the people. I'm going to engage the people. I'm going to try to work with the people and try to help. One of the biggest reasons I took the job was because I'm fortunate enough to live in a good enough way to be me, just simply me. I stay away from alcohol and drugs. I try to drink water and live a wholesome life and eat as good as I can, sleep as good as I can. And, I'll just put it out there. I'm 49 years old. I got one more half a year to go before I'm 50. And, yeah, it's important for those kids to be able to see me. It's that simple. I have to be at each event. If I can be at every event, I've done a good job. I need to be seen. I need to be smiling. I need to be positive. I need to be all of those things and embody our cultural ways. I have to be that because of the simple fact. I'll go back to when I was a kid. It was a different world. When I was in school, I saw no one. I didn't see Native teachers. We didn't have Big Brother program. I saw some rugged stuff on Chicago and Franklin, though.
Yeah.
It was a very different avenue at that time. So a bar on each corner has definitely changed. It's very important to see our representatives in there and to hear what they have to say, because they are saying some good things. They're smart. They're doing it. I love it.
And one of the things that you're saying too, which is I just love too, is it's not just an inspiration for the Native American community, for all the communities. I mean, that's leadership, and that is something we all can look up to, regardless of what your background is. And I couldn't agree with more. I'm 55. I quit drinking years ago. I can't tell you, it's inspiring to hear you say this, because you know what? That's the key, is being there in the community as part of that community and making sure that all the voices are heard. That's just so important. So let's talk about the event. This is on Monday from noon until 3, correct?
Yes.
All right. And it's going to be over 1845 East Franklin Avenue at the American Indian OIC. So this is what's going to be the whole point, is getting as many people registered as possible.
For this one, we are not going to be registering.
Okay.
We will take some names and put them in our database. Jolene will love that. Come put your name in there. We will have the Women's League of Voters over there. They will be registering.
Okay.
There'll be, I hear, maybe candidates from Ward 6 and Ward 9, possibly. I can't say for sure. There's going to be a couple other, our Secretary of State, Steve Simon, will be in attendance. We're going to be giving away winter hats, brand new winter hats. We're going to be giving away beautiful shirts. We have free soup. We have free fry bread and pumpkin bars. There's lots of stuff for the kids. So it's going to be a great event. We're working in partnership with the the IHB, Indian Health Board, and we'll be walking down and supporting theirs, which is maybe a block away. So right after ours, we're going to go over there. Be sure to get in, come check out our table, Make Voting a Tradition table, sign up for our drawings. We will have 2 beautiful lacrosse sticks, and those are Baga Odewewen Natig. Those are traditional lacrosse sticks made by Thomas House. Bidasage Miigwech. I just said thank you to him. For that, we're giving away 2 of those. So be there, get a ticket.
I've seen the picture of those. Those look cool. But you had me at fry bread.
Yes.
You had me at fry. Folks, if you've never been to a powwow, if you find one, you can find this event coming up here on Monday from 10 until 3. Find a powwow in your neighborhood. Go see it. It's a lot of fun. And the food. Yes, pumpkin bars. I heard something about pumpkin bars as well, my friend.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, we do keep fry bread around, but we have some fantastic cooks out there these days. So we're moving on to many things.
Yeah. And also Aztec dancers too. They're going to be at this event too, which I think that's just wonderful. I think, embracing all the cultures that are in, they're not just, not the Native American cultures that are local, but as well, all the Native American cultures. I think it's so important as well. Yeah. I think that's really cool. And I'm actually kind of fascinated to go see that too.
Yeah.
So, all right. So this is once again, it's happening noon until 3 on Monday, the 9th, at 1845 East Franklin Avenue. A lot of people there. Steve Simon there, League of Women Voters there. Lots of great information there. Lots of great community. Stop on out, be part of that. And then, of course, at what point are you guys going to go down to the street there, that block down the street? Or is that during the whole thing?
I think about 2:30 we'll walk down the block.
All right. And that's the health.
Indian Health Board.
Indian Health Board. So be part of it. Head on out there. Enjoy that on Monday. Derek DeLille. Derek, anytime you want to come back, man. Anytime. You and I, awesome. This is just cool. I'm very grateful. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you.
Good stuff. I appreciate it.
All right. We'll take a break. Come on back. It's the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.
Hi, I'm Kelly Kirk.
I'm Chad Larson.
And I'm Joe Kirk.
Your hosts for Searching for Service. Tune in to Rotary's influential show and podcast, sharing touching stories of service locally and abroad.
We bring you weekly guests that connect, inform, and inspire our listeners on all things service.
We highlight diverse service opportunities that appeal to both Rotarians and people driven to serve in their communities.
Tune in Sundays at 3 p.m. or anytime via podcast. It's time
to stop searching
and start serving.
The Park Tavern is your go-to destination for fun. Your friends and your family will have a great time with the fantastic food like the pizzas, appetizers, burgers, entrees, and sandwiches, the best bowling in Minnesota, the wildly popular outdoor patio, great drink specials, all the big games on their numerous screens, and it's the perfect place for your next private event, even large gatherings for over 200. The Park Tavern is your go-to destination for everyone aged 1 to 100. Come see for yourself. Have fun at the Park Tavern, Louisiana Avenue, north of Highway 7 in St. Louis Park.
From chasing fall colors on a scenic road trip to epic hikes, fall festivals, apple orchards, or long hours on a patio, fall in Minnesota offers clear blue skies, an endless tapestry of color, and unmatched beauty, perfect for setting the stage for any colorful adventure. Plan your dream trip at exploreminnesota.com. Sponsored by Explore Minnesota, aired by the Minnesota Broadcasters Association and this station.
Tune in this Saturday morning right here on AM 950 for the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show from 7 to 8 a.m. We'll be discussing the world of volunteer plants, as well as perennials you might want to include in your next year's garden. Our guest is urban orchardist Susan Poisoner, and we'll answer your garden questions. That's all this Saturday morning right here on AM 950 from 7 to 8 a.m. Tell a friend and let's grow together.
Hot from 30 Bells on Main Street in Hopkins, my co-founder Tom and I developed our restaurant to celebrate everything Midwestern cuisine has to offer. Our upbeat neighborhood gathering place brings together bright personalities, bold recipes, clean ingredients, and craft spirits that play with unique flavors of the Midwest. The menu at 30 Bales is inspired by seasonal ingredients grown close to home. Some favorites include our devilish eggs, beet salad, short rib pot pie, and our decadent burgers. Join us for lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch. Go to 30bales.com to learn more.
Can I tell you how great it is that Native American cuisine is starting to become a major thing, man? This is something, but you know me, I'm all about food. This town is becoming a really good food town, but it's just, I love the fact that Native American culture, and I'm dead serious. If you've not been to an event, They have that event coming up here, and I'll post all the details of that event coming up on social media a little bit later on this evening. You can find all that information. But if you've not been to a Native American event, I highly encourage you to go, because it is the epitome of community. It's the epitome of the neighborhood. You'll learn a lot. You'll be exposed to a new culture, which is really cool. It is an incredibly cool culture. The more, I mean, remember I went out in the parks last year? I don't have the poster up here anymore. Remember I went out to the parks of the West, and the stories you would hear about the Native American culture out there, just 1,000 times more badass than anything I'd ever heard in my life. Ingenious, smart, intelligent, strong communities. Just it's a shame we don't learn more about it. But I'm glad we're starting to see more of this, but we need a lot more. And I'll give my show to any community group. I will. You've got an event coming up. You want to talk about it? The more the merrier, for goodness sakes. I'm part of a race. It's called the human race, and I'm all for it. And there's a lot of really cool people. And if I can say, there's a lot of times, white America, you just need to shut up and listen to what the other people are saying, because you know what? They're right. And they've been right for a long, long time. And it doesn't mean I feel threatened by it. It means I'm feeling enlightened by it. So I can't encourage you enough to go and do that. Do you like fry bread? When was the last time you had fry bread?
I don't think I've had it before. No.
Get me a food truck stat.
Now, if you're talking a food truck, you got my attention. If you get one outside the station.
It would just be for us, man.
Yeah.
I did when we were driving across from southern Utah down to the Grand Canyon, which, by the way, no straight road. Thanks. I have to go over to Page, Arizona, and then shoot back down that way. That's nice. Thank you for that. But we did stop in this great restaurant it was a Navajo restaurant, and the fry bread. Holy, I became smitten. More Native American restaurants in this city would be a good thing, would be a really good thing. And, I also do find, when you talk about, eating local and, buying products that are local and stuff like that, what's growing local and making that, we've had, chefs and cooks and cookbook writers and people on that talking about that sort of thing. No one does that better than the Native American community, because they know exactly what grows, when it grows, and how to prepare it perfectly. So now I'm hungry, man. Brett, why did you do this to me, man? Why did you bring up fry bread?
I know it sounds good.
Pumpkin bars, man. It is. There's 1 month of the year I can have pumpkin bars. Well, I can have pumpkin pie too, but 1 month of the year I can have pumpkin bars. Guess what? It's pumpkin bar season. 952-946-6205. Are you ready for an extended sports report when we come on back?
Well, let's do it.
Let's do an extended sports report when we do return. It is the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.
From chasing fall colors on a scenic road trip to epic hikes, fall festivals, apple orchards, or long hours on a patio, fall in Minnesota offers clear blue skies, an endless tapestry of color, and unmatched beauty, perfect for setting the stage for any colorful adventure. Plan your dream trip at exploreminnesota.com. Sponsored by Explore Minnesota, aired by the Minnesota Broadcasters Association and this station.
In retirement, it's all about income, your money making money, while still controlling your principal. If your portfolio has recently taken a big hit, you're not set up for retirement income. We're Ferguson Financial, and that's what we do. We position portfolios to generate retirement income. Learn how it's done. Call us today, 888-429-5569, and check out our retirement income program, Sunday mornings at 9.
Join Twin Cities Quorum as they celebrate their 30th annual National Coming Out Day Luncheon. This inspirational and transformational event gives voice to the power of living openly, honestly, and with authenticity at work, in our families, and in our faith, and across our lives. The realities of living an authentic life are deeper than just being out. We all have many layers of identity, and we must work together to create a world where people can bring their whole self to everything they do. The National Coming Out Day Luncheon serves as a celebration of who we are individually and together. Reserve your tickets today for Friday, October 13th. This year's National Coming Out Day Luncheon will be at the Minneapolis Convention Center in Minneapolis. The Marketplace Expo opens at 10 a.m., and the luncheon will begin at 11:45. Tickets are available to members for $60 or non-members for $75. Learn more and purchase your tickets at TwinCitiesQuorum.com on the events page. That's TwinCities, QUORUM.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for scattered rain showers throughout today with a high near 52. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 40. And Saturday, partly sunny with a high near 51. Get a taste of authentic Szechuan and Mandarin cuisine at the Great Wall Restaurant. From hot and sour soup to Peking duck, they've got all of your favorites covered. Conveniently located just south of 50th and France in Edina, order for takeout or view the full menu at GreatWallEdina.com. That's GreatWallEdina.com.
AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. It's the Matt McNeil Show. Oh, I've got a great song for today. I'll tell you in a second. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. So let's start with the breaking news today. We've got some sports stories we've got to get to here. And, we have to start with one, which is kind of a bit of a shocker, but if you've been following the team, it's not a shocker. The Minnesota United announced Friday they are parting ways with Adrian Heath, the only head coach the team has had during their time in MLS. How much of this soccer squad have you been paying attention to?
Very casually.
Very casually. It has not helped them at all to have those damn games on Apple TV. Because once Ted Lasso is over, I mean, like, I'm not sitting around on Apple TV. What are you, freaking crazy? I've got, how many other streaming services I've got? I still have to watch the live version of The Little Mermaid. I'm caught up on that. They've not been good. I mean, what was it? Where there was a game they had where they were up 3-0 at half and they lost 4-3. And I'm like, how do you even do that?
That's an accomplishment in
soccer. And what it is this is, I'll tell you what, let me read the story and I'll come back to this here. Assistant coach Sean McCauley will serve as interim head coach for the remainder of the 2023 season. Heath, who was originally contracted to coach through the 2024 season, came to the United November of 2016. He led the Loons for their first MSL Cup playoff appearance. And the team has made an offseason appearance, made an offseason appearance for the last 4 years, but they fail pretty spectacularly. He leaves the club with a 91, 101, and 56 record, so he doesn't have a winning record. The United are currently in 12th place in the West Conference with 2 games remaining in the regular season. Every game since the end of August has ended in a draw or loss, and the team's lost to 5-1 to LAFC on Wednesday. We are grateful for Adrian and his dedication to the club and for all that we've accomplished over the last 7 years, said Minnesota United Football Club CEO Sherry Ballard. It was a difficult decision, but we believe the time is right to move in the new direction. This should have happened 2 years ago. I hate to be blunt, but it should have happened 2 years ago. He doesn't make changes in the second half you need on a consistent basis to where you get wins. You're up 3-0. And let me see if I can find it here, what that game was, because that was for me that the end's like, okay, why is this guy the coach? Why is he still the coach at this point? It was, let's see here. It was, what game was it? Yeah, it was LA Galaxy. It was Wednesday night, September 20th. After that game, I was like, oh yeah, it was over. They just, it's been a team that has not shown resiliency and the fight that you need. And, you're up 4-3, or you're up 3-0. You're up 3-0. You lose 4-3. That is, I'm not Ted Lasso, but I could manage a team to at least say one forward, everyone else back. The ball comes anywhere near the goal box. You kick it as much force as you can back down the field, and we're done.
Yeah, in American football, that's blowing like a 7-touchdown lead in the
It
second
is.
half.
That's the Colts of last year. That's the
Yeah.
Colts last year. That is all you have to do is pull back everyone but your one forward. The one forward gets a breakaway because their defense will be playing forward because they're trying to get goals. They get one goal, fine. Then you pull the other guy back, and you basically just you make it to where there's so many bodies on the field they can't get a ball through. That is a failure, and that's the coaching staff. And that is, I have watched this team lose to expansion teams. I watched this team, just give up in the last 20 minutes of a game. They don't seem to be trained. The team doesn't seem to be trained right. And yeah, this is probably more soccer talk than you ever wanted in your life, especially about Minnesota United. But I'm a fan of the team. I like soccer. When I went over to the military and I was over in Europe, I got it there. I followed the local Nuremberg team there, but I became a fan of Newcastle United. Now, Newcastle United, if you don't know the history of Newcastle United, they've been a bad team for a long time. And now with their new owners, they're a really good team, and they're actually doing really well. Now they're mid-level in the I think they're 8th or 9th right now in the Premier League, but they're a much better squad than they've been in years, in decades. I've watched soccer. I've watched bad soccer, and I got to tell you the truth. Minnesota United are just bad soccer. And so it's going to be hard to not see Heath on the sidelines because he's been such a staple. And they've had one or two really impressive wins. But overall, when your record is 91, 101, and 56, the question here is, well, how many, why did you let it get this long? All right. 952-946-6205. Number 2 on the sports report, our starter, once again, in case you missed it, hey, we got a baseball team in town again. Yeah! Woo! Minnesota Twins are on the road starting tomorrow. They have the afternoon game, I believe it is. So, yeah, the way this breaks down, they've got, I think, the 3:40 start time tomorrow. They've got the 7 o'clock p.m. They got the primetime game on Sunday night. Then they've got a 3 o'clock game on Tuesday, and they got a 1 o'clock game on Wednesday. Thanks, Major League Baseball.
Oh, they already announced the Wednesday game.
The Wednesday's a 1 o'clock start time.
Man.
Jeez. Couldn't you start it at like 8 a.m.? You could have breakfast at the park. It is the Twins will not start Joe Ryan, though, for game 1. And you want to know the truth is, I'm okay with this. Once again, you're on the road. Houston's been rested and up. They are a good team. They're taking on Verlander. Bailey Ober, who didn't allow more than 2 runs in any of his 4 September starts, has been chosen by the Twins manager, Rocco Baldelli, to pitch Saturday's opening game in the AL Division Series against those dreaded Astros. The team announced on Friday. Ober will face 3-time Cy Young winner, 2-time World Series champion Justin Verlander. But they were playing for cheaters, I think. Wasn't he playing for the cheaters? I can't remember when Verlander was. I think he might have been playing for that. Ryan had been preparing to start a tie-breaking game against the Blue Jays, but that game was made unnecessary when the Twins swept the first 2. Baldelli apparently had second thoughts about starting Ryan against the Astros, who he faced twice in 2023 and allowed 9 runs in 10 total innings. That's not exactly keeping the ball in the park, is it? Ryan also allowed 32 home runs this season, 4th most in the American League. The Astros ranked 5th in the AL for home runs with 222. The home runs accounted for 45.1% of all the runs the Astros scored. So basically, that math doesn't work out. It just doesn't work out. Neither Ober or Ryan has ever appeared in a postseason game. Verlander has started 34 postseason games, 3rd most in Major League history. He's 16-11 with a 3.64 ERA in the playoffs. You know, I was saying to someone the other day, it's like, excuse me, this morning, he said, I wish the Twins would be getting more runs on the board. I said, okay, wait a second here. We're not playing the freaking Royals and the White Sox anymore. And to my Chicago listeners right now who are now seething at me, fine, whatever. That being said, it wasn't great pitching. And there were the Oakland, Colorado. I mean, it wasn't great pitching. It's easy to put tons of runs on the board when you're dealing with really bad pitching. Every pitching staff you're going to face from here on out is going to be good. So you've got to win games where you're scoring 2, 3, 4 runs. That's how you do it. Okay? That's how you do it. So good luck with that. That's what you got to figure out how to do. Do you agree with that? Bailey Ober versus Ryan, Joe Ryan as the starter in game 1.
Yeah, I could go either way on that one. I would probably lean towards Ober as well. I kind of like Kenta Maeda. I'm surprised they didn't give
Well, I
him
mean, I don't know if Ryan's going to pitch the second game or Kenta Maeda is. It sounds like what they're trying to do is set up Lopez and Gray for 3 and 4 here in town. That's what it sounds like. Although, would I be surprised if Lopez pitched? If you got beat bad in game 2 or game 1, would I be surprised if they threw Lopez out there in game 2? No, I wouldn't. But you got to figure out a way to win that. So, once again, that game is tomorrow afternoon from Houston. And if you're worried about, well, wait a second here, Gopher football is going to get absolutely annihilated by Michigan at home. Great. That's going to be coming up on Saturday night. And that's just being realistic. They're going to get absolutely annihilated by Michigan and coming up here on Saturday night. So that's the case. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. Dave is in Duluth. Dynamo Dave is in Duluth. He wanted to chime in on something non-sports related right now. Welcome on in, Dave. Dave? Are you there? You're there. Okay? I can hear you now.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you now, man.
Oh, okay. So 2 weeks ago today, hey, did you know that these congressional guys, the representatives, they get paid whether there's a government shutdown or not?
Yep.
And Representative Angie Craig of Minnesota 2 weeks ago today had introduced a bill so that if they were to shut down, that they would not receive pay. Had you heard about that?
Yes, I did. And the Republicans said, no, we're not going to entertain it.
Oh, is that what? Oh, okay.
So
that's crazy. They're supposed to be, like you say, the one.
Oh no, that was the easiest. That was the easiest outcome I could ever seen, Dave. Oh, they're going to get their paycheck. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, that's really wild. They're supposed to lead. We the people, right? But anyway, what I don't understand is the Democrats have been in control of Congress. Why they haven't passed such a bill? I mean.
Because and Dave, thank you much. I appreciate it. A little off topic, but I don't mind addressing this. It was only 3 or 4 years ago they fixed it to where the military got paid during the shutdown. Or excuse me, no. Let me rephrase. Some military gets paid during the shutdown, depending on what your critical job role is. Most of the military does not get paid during this. But when the government shutdown was over, there was nothing saying that the military got reimbursed for the missed paychecks. They only fixed that little gem 3 or 4 years ago. You're expecting some of the most self-centered, narcissistic, self-serving people you've ever met to basically give up a paycheck? Please. They're not going to do that, man. And heck, let's just be honest, half the Democrats won't do it either. It is what it is. And even because you're right, Democrats could do it when they're in the power, when they were in charge. They just didn't. Maybe they should, make a law, because I can guarantee you this. If it all of a sudden was on the books, maybe they wouldn't be shutting down the government so often. So, all right. So we've touched on the firing of the soccer coach. We've touched on the lineups, our starting pitcher for the first game of the divisional series. We've talked about the Gophers getting absolutely beaten to senseless by Michigan on Saturday night. So the question that Brett has been constantly harping me about, will Taylor Swift show up for the Vikings game? Brett, come on, calm
we gotta
down.
bring the Swifties into.
Oh yeah, our King Swiftie in that producer studio. Hey, I love Tay myself. She's fantastic. I don't think she's going to be in town.
Oh, really?
I don't think she's going to be in town.
A primetime game. Well, it's not primetime, but it's in
the 3 o'clock.
It's in the big CBS slot, though.
Yeah. No, I do not think Taylor Swift is going to be in town. I think that the NFL has basically. I agree with Travis Kelce that the reaction of the NFL, who by the way is swooning over getting the world's biggest pop star as a fan of the NFL, bringing in, because girls across the country who have never watched a football game or just watch it in passing are now watching them intently, hoping that the cameras pan up whenever the Chiefs score a touchdown or Kelsey's in a play to Taylor Swift cheering in a luxury box. They're desperate for that. I don't think she's going to be coming here. Not that it's, hey, she played 2 shows here. She played 1 show in most cities. She played 2 shows here. She sold out both of them in a heartbeat. It's a good city for, music and stuff like that. It's a big enough market. I just think that the NFL has gone so over the top in regards to their marketing of this that I think that this is going to be a cool down weekend. And, and the NFL is going to send her about 1,000 dozen roses saying, please come back to the next game. Your thoughts?
I wonder if she'll get the halftime show, but
no, they're not. The Vikings would.
Not at the Super Bowl halftime show. I should clarify. Yeah.
Well, who's doing it this year?
Did they already announce who's doing it this year?
Yeah, they have. I can't remember who it's doing it.
No, but as to whether she's coming to the game this weekend, I don't know. I just feel like that's such a high profile time slot that CBS has got to be pulling for her to show up, because every network that's shown a Chiefs game now has just seen insane ratings.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm betting they're probably saying, can you please show up? We could really use you at the game.
I wouldn't be surprised if she did, but I don't think she will. I don't. And, and here's, okay, can I say this? So I've played this a little out in my mind. Imagine she doesn't show up and the Chiefs lose to the Vikings. Oh my gosh. Chiefs fan will turn on her in a heartbeat. You're our good luck charm. You didn't show up. If you would have shown up, we would have won that game.
Right wingers have found out how that works when you turn against Taylor Swift.
What are they thinking? What are you thinking? It's like the Republicans came out and said, we're against ice cream. Really? You're that stupid, are you? Okay. I don't know. Yeah. The Beatles are bad. What are you doing, you idiots? You don't get out of your own damn way. I'm not going to stop you. You guys want to, basically completely poison the voter pool against you for generations to come. I can guarantee you, Swifties will not forget you guys bad-mouthing Taylor Swift in 30 years. They will not. Do you think the Vikings will win this weekend?
Probably not. No, not against the Chiefs. No.
It's not that we don't have an offensive that's capable of putting up a ton of points. We don't have a defense, although they played well in the second half.
Defense has done all right. It's more the offense doesn't like really hanging onto the ball very well. Well, it's something that's not popular with the team.
They like to give. Did you see the story that apparently the Vikings offered Justin Jefferson a record contract, but he basically turned it down because he wants to make sure that he wants to stay with Kirk Cousins, and he wants to see where Kirk Cousins is playing before he agrees to stay anymore.
Oh, wow.
That's at least, I saw that story out there. I don't know if it's true or not. I mean, heck, you've listened to this show. You think I know any damn thing about sports? But I will say this: the NFL is not wrong in doing this. You have someone of that magnitude. Right now, remember when BTS was everywhere, the Korean pop band, and everywhere you went there was BTS, or Halsey. It's just everywhere you went was Halsey. Those are nothing compared to the star power shine right now of Taylor Swift. I mean, there are only a few times in my life I have seen celebrity shining as bright as this. I mean, the only person in the celebrity world that might be on comparison level is Beyonce. So Beyonce could show up, or Taylor Swift could show up. And, that's basically the peak pop culture moment you could possibly get. I just don't. I think that Taylor Swift just came off a tour. Does she really want every weekend to be? I mean, she doesn't live in Kansas City, does she?
I doubt that she lives in Kansas City.
So that means she's going on the road every week. She just got off of the tour, living in hotels and stuff like that. Does she really want to do that? I don't think so.
I'm guessing she's staying in nice hotels, though.
You're thinking it's not the Motel 6.
Not doing an Airbnb, I'm guessing.
She's wild. You're walking into your Motel 6. I swear to God, I think Taylor Swift is staying next door to us there. These are great deals, aren't they? No, my guess is she's not even staying in a hotel. She's staying in some, there are things you and I, with our meager existence, don't know about. There's probably some billion-dollar house or apartment in town that's only in existence for when people of the caliber of Taylor Swift come into town, and then they just put her in there. It's not even a hotel. That's where she's at, and no one knows she's in there. So that's going to be my guess. Tay, I miss you. I miss you. If she is on that game, though, I feel sorry for the Vikings, because no one's going to care about the Vikings if that's the case. No one's going to care. But I guess, should they? 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Some dancing when we come back. It's the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.
The Guthrie Theater presents For the People, an irreverent new comedy born of the Twin Cities Native community. In the play, April Dakota dreams of opening a wellness center on Franklin Avenue to serve the Native community. She's counting on a grant to make it happen, but when her presentation goes sideways, she's forced to make a decision that puts the community and her culture at risk. On stage now through November 12th. Tickets at GuthrieTheater.org. That's through November 12th. GuthrieTheater.org.
Hi, this is Gina. Matthew, I will not read this next line.
I'll be your Snookum-Wookums.
Fine. My husband is the sexiest radio host in Minnesota, Matt McNeil.
Dang straight.
When it came time to replace my vehicle, I wanted an option that was safe in the environment. I wanted a hybrid. My RAV4 Hybrid is a greener vehicle without sacrificing style and comfort. I love my Toyota Hybrid.
Toyota hybrids are incredibly fuel efficient. Test drive one today at Rudy Luther Toyota, 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. To avoid gimmicks, call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067, or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
There really is no place like home. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Home Health. When you're faced with an illness or an injury, being able to stay at home and receive care is important. Our home health offers a wide range of services, including skilled nursing, physical, occupational, and speech therapies, aides, homemakers, in-home respite care, and 24/7 live-in care. We'll work closely with your primary care provider to come up with an individualized plan for you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
By the way, quick happy birthday to Marla, longtime listener to the show here. Happy birthday to you this weekend. I hope you have a wonderful one. We are done for the week. Native Roots Radio, I'm Lloyd, comes in next. We are back on a Monday, either crying in our soup over 2 losses and stuff like this, or happy and giddy as the day is long. We'll have to determine what that is. But no matter what, we're going to be happy and giddy going into the weekend. Diana Ross, Upside Down. This takes us out. Boom, 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 boom. There you go. Have a great weekend. We are back on a Monday. Till then, see ya.
I said upside down, you're turning me. You're giving love instinctively. Round and round, you're turning me. Upside down, boy, you turn me inside out. And round, upside down, boy, you turn me inside out. And round, instinctively you give to me the love that I need. I cherish the moments with you. Respectfully, I say to thee, I'm aware that you're cheating when no one makes me feel like you do. Upside down, boy, you turn me inside out. And round, upside down, boy, you turn me inside out. And round, I know you got charm and appeal. You always play the field. I'm crazy to think you're all mine. As long as the sun continues to shine, there's a place in my heart for you, that's the bottom line. Upside down, boy, you turn me inside out and round, upside down. Boy, you turn me inside out.
Are your remote workers putting your company at risk? Not sure what steps to take to secure